To wash or not to wash is a personal preference some quilters have. My preference is not to wash fabrics. I like them to be nice and crisp when I use them. But for some fabrics you do have to wash them because they will bleed, and you don't want this beautiful quilt that you just finished making and stick it in the washer and find that one of the fabrics bleeds onto your other fabric. So there are some ways to test to see if you need to pre-wash your fabrics. Usually it's a batik, and they're usually solid batiks. Printed batiks don't tend to bleed because there's other colors in them. The ones that bleed the most would be blacks, dark colors like blacks, navies, some purples may bleed, and also some oranges and reds and yellows may bleed. So to test to see if it's going to bleed, what you're going to do is you're going to take some hot water. I have a bowl of hot water here. And you're going to put your fabric in that hot water, and I usually use a piece of a paper towel to kind of test to see if it's going to bleed. And you put your fabric in that hot water, and then I will place it on the paper towel. Oh, I can't see. And usually you can see if it's going to bleed. Now here I see the color of my water is changing colors. If I squeeze it, you can see it's getting a little darker each time I squeeze it. So that I'm going to have to wash. And there's a couple different things you can do with that fabric. Is you can either stick it in your washing machine with a product called Synthropol. And Synthropol is just used for dyed fabrics. If you do all your own hand-dyed fabrics, you use the Synthropol. There's another product called dye catchers. You can buy it in your local grocery store, in the laundry department, or Walmart. And those you can stick in the wash as you're washing them. Now, I don't recommend washing a fabric that's going to bleed with other fabrics that don't bleed, even though the dye catchers will catch that dye. I do say that you should wash them in the same color. So if they're all dark, say they're all blue navies or blacks or something, you can wash all those together, but you're not going to want to wash your light fabrics in there if they bleed too. So let's look and see. Let's try the yellow one and see if that one's going to bleed. So let me take some more hot water here, put my yellow fabric in there, and get my paper towel. Sometimes you'll see an orange dye come out of a yellow, and let me check and see if the dye's coming out of this one. If it doesn't, then I don't have to wash it, but I don't think so. I don't see this water changing colors at all. So I don't have to pre-wash that yellow. And here's a print. Like I said, if you have a print that's batik, tendency is they won't bleed on you unless it's the print is, all of it is dark. So this is not changing color at all in that water. So I wouldn't have to pre-wash this. So always pre-test. Well, wait a minute. Looks like it might be turning a little pink. Yes, it is turning pink. See if I squeeze it and the water's starting to turn pink. So I would have to pre-wash this. Now that's because it's kind of what's called a tone-on-tone, so I would pre-wash that. So whenever you get a batik fabric, most regular printed cottons do not bleed. I would check the dark colors just to make sure, but for batik fabrics, anything that's dark or has orange or red in it, I would test those to make sure that they don't bleed. And if they do bleed, then go ahead and wash them in Synthropol, and that's using hot water. You want to use the hottest water you can, or using a product called dye catchers. And then you won't be sorry after you put the quilt together because all the dye will have come out of the fabric.